This is Professor Michael Chapman. I'm one of the most experienced IVF doctors in Australia. I believe that an important part that I can contribute is to educate patients in relation to fertility, infertility, and all that involves. These series of podcasts help to educate you. I hope they are helpful to you. If you wish to know more, however, I'm more than happy to have you contact me via email, which is profmchapman@gmail.com, or make an appointment to see me on 9138 4222.
When you get to 12 months, the fertility rate drops from 15% per month to around about 10% per month. And amongst those, there are going to be people with proper infertility, people where the male sperm count is low, or she's got blocked tubes, or she's not making an egg every month. And then medicine, proper medicine, can help where herbs won't. That's my negative view of the world. But it doesn't stop me giving add-ons, particularly when I'm getting desperate, when the patient's getting desperate. We've tried IVF 3 times, we've got good embryos, there must be something else. We go looking and we can't find anything else. Let's try add-ons. So the add-ons that I do prescribe from time to time, women who don't produce many eggs, women who produce poor quality eggs, I give a male hormone called DHEA for at least 8 weeks before the next cycle. And that the theory of that is that the ovary produces its own male hormones, but in some women that'll be lower, particularly women over the age of 40, so giving a bit of extra male hormone might help. Randomized controlled trials are split. There are a few small ones that says it works, and then there are others that say it doesn't. People use testosterone patches. I'm not as aggressive as that. They have similar, some good findings, some bad findings. A very big study, multi-center study just about to be published, that I heard about in Spain only 2 months ago, showed no improvement in pregnancy rates in the group of patients who are called poor responders in terms of their pregnancy rates. But these drugs aren't cheap either. Does it do any good? Let's try. In rats, or mice actually, there have been a couple of studies showing that taking a vitamin called CoQ10 improves the fertility of old rats, improves the number of eggs they produce, improves the number in their litters, and improves the percentage of normal chromosomed embryos. However, rats and mice are not women, and studies in women have not confirmed that finding. Becoming vogue at the moment, tablets or hormone supplements that supposedly increase the energy levels in the ovaries, NADH stimulators. Again, randomized controlled trials haven't shown any benefit. Again, in rats, the same results as I discussed with CoQ10. In older mice, bigger litters, less congenital abnormalities. So maybe there's something in it, but not on the drugs that we're currently using.
Prof, we have a question from someone live. How long is the IVF process from start to finish?
Okay. All right. Well, let's do IVF 101. And I sit with patients every clinic explaining this. So let's go from the beginning. Most cycles in Australia, something like over 90% now, are what are called antagonist cycles. We use a drug that is called a GnRH antagonist. It switches off the brain so that we control the ovaries for the fortnight leading up to ovulation. So what happens is that on the first day of your period, you contact the clinic, and on the second day, you'll generally start your medication, which will be injections on a daily basis. 5 or 6 days later, you'll come for an ultrasound scan and a blood, and then 2 or 3 days after that, come back again. What we're looking for is a rising level of estrogen, which says that we are producing more than one follicle. And the ultrasound, we can look at your ovaries and see how many of these follicles, these black holes there are in the ovary, and how big they are. Within those black holes are an egg. Each black hole in about 80% of cases, will have an egg in it. Once those eggs, those follicles reach a size something heading towards 2 centimeters in diameter, a little bit less than that, but that's where they're heading, and the hormone levels are correct, we will then give an injection for the final stages of maturation of the egg before we collect them. That's usually, on average, that's about 11 or 12 days after you started the injection, the original injections. So we're now about 13, 14 days into the menstrual cycle. The egg collection is done either under a very light sedation or occasionally, not occasionally, under a light general anesthetic. So the procedure is done through the vagina using ultrasound to guide a needle into each of those black holes. The doctor sucks out the fluid inside the follicle and hands it the fluid to the scientist who's next to him in the operating theatre with a microscope and says, yes, we found an egg, or no, we haven't found an egg, keep looking. And we go through each follicle. Takes somewhere between 15 and 30 minutes, depending on the number of follicles you have. That day is when your partner produces a sperm sample, and that sperm sample is put with the eggs that afternoon, and the next morning we know how many are fertilized. You'll get a call from the scientist to say, yeah, you got 10 eggs yesterday and 7 or 8 of them are fertilized. We'll watch them in the laboratory until they're ready to put back, which is on day 5 after the egg collection.
And don't forget that you can access all the previous episodes by going to our website www.theivfjourney.com and select IVF Journey Podcast from the navigation menu.